Greetings, I'm Jir Anderson. I'm a singer-songwriter guitarist from the Pueblo lands of New Mexico, and I'm your host this evening with Native Guitars Tour Behind the Mask. Tonight we bring you part 2 of our interview with Garry Blackchild. He's a Choctaw singer-songwriter bringing us his style of rebel folk. Live from Taos, New Mexico, once again, Garry Blackchild.
Three bright lights down by my mom called again in the middle of the song. My mom was, and I was like, oh no, nobody can hear me again. You know, when I first came to New Mexico, there was a lot of I wouldn't say like a lot, but there was a few more native blues bands around, like the Albuquerque area, you know, back when we had blues bars to play at. Remember those days?
Yeah.
And you know, and as much as I love all musicians, like a lot of them were not really that great. And you were like the good ones, you know. When I first seen you, I was like, damn, jerk, like these guys can play some fucking blues. And I'm used to seeing like brothers playing blues, and I saw like, you know, like I saw you playing the blues, and I saw a bunch of like other natives playing blues, and I was just like, whoa. There's like a whole like native blues scene. Like when I moved to Albuquerque, you know, 15 years ago, like there was a straight native blues scene going on.
Yeah.
You know, you had Gary Farmer, you had, you know, I believe John Trudell was still alive. You had like, what's his name that sings that song? You had Keith Secola. Keith Secola was touring around the Southwest like a madman, and he would come in and out of New Mexico every year for like Gathering Nations Indian Market. And I saw Keith Secola for the first time, man, and it blew my mind. And I was like, who's this dude that can play the blues like that? You know? It was awesome.
Yeah. So many great native musicians out there, you know, and
Seriously.
you know, I have the show once a week, and I still can't get everybody in. You know, it's just jam packed. Everybody wants to get in, and it's just like, I'm trying. I really want to get you on, but you know, the list is huge, and just is a contest to you know, all the great native creatives out there.
Yes.
Another thing I want to talk about a little bit, because this is a music crowd, right? Your guitar playing. I mean, your technique is just really become really intricate, and I think a lot of people may not really grasp the complexity of what you're playing, and you probably may not even grasp how complex some of the lines that you're playing, because you're just going off, but you have a great technique. I mean, it's just...
I'm still trying to learn how to play the guitar, Jer. I'm still trying to learn how to play, man. Like this thing, right? This instrument right here basically saved my life. You know, like we all got a lot of like inner stuff we're working on, and some of it's really dark. You know, some of it's not so dark, but like the only way that I can get it out is like through this piece of wood with strings on it, and so I'm still learning how to play. And I watch all these guitar players, Jerry, like you do every day on YouTube. All these young kids like that are younger than us, and they're just like shredding it. And I'm like, just die already, you little fuck. Give me a chance. I'm trying to make some money, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like a never-ending process. And I feel like my thing is more than being like a technical player, which I look up, like the guitarists I look up to are technical. You know, I study people like Slash, Jimmy Page, Paco de Lucia, James Taylor, Jimi Hendrix, Gary Clark Jr., Link Ray. These are the people that I study on guitar, and like what I always found, it wasn't really about all this. It was about the sound. It's about the sound that you like for yourself, and then you kind of just learn to like replicate that sound, and you make it consistent, because it's your sound. And I think it doesn't matter how badass you are, how many scales you know, how many chords you know. It's more about like, if you create a sound that basically you don't have to like speak to anybody, but you can just play and they get you, that means you find your sound. And it's all about sound, man. You know, it's about finding the gear and the equipment that works for you. And then you hone in on it, and then you just own it, you know?
Yeah, I totally get it. You know, it's almost like a maturity, I think, because when I was a lot younger, you know, I was, but, you know, I was doing all that stuff, and then
You're like the
now,
native Van Halen. You're like like the Pueblo Van Halen of New Mexico. You really are.
but now, like I'm like you. I'm more interested now in like just strumming some chords and singing and getting that connection, you know, with, you know, my voice, the guitar, and just it's a lot more joy, you
Yeah.
know, especially now that I don't have my band. With my band, you know, I love to go off and just roll on the floor and do all kinds of crazy stuff, but you know,
Yeah.
when on my own, it's just you and the instrument. So and I learned a lot of that from you. I watch a lot of your videos, and I've seen you live enough times, and it's just like I just want to be like you.
Don't tell me that. I want to be like you. You don't want to be like me.
Yeah.
You really don't.
I think in a lot of ways though we support each other, and that's kind of what I'm saying. You know,
I feel
it's
like
nice to have you out there.
yeah, we live vicariously through each other. Like I live vicariously through you, Jer, and I see like what you do, and like I think before COVID hit, we were like really hitting New Mexico pretty hard. We were playing a lot in Albuquerque. Like the brewery scene was blowing up. Like shit was just blowing up for local musicians of Albuquerque. Like we were getting a lot of gigs, and then boom, like right when we were just getting our wings, the shit was like the universe was like, no, you humans are like, you've been really shitty to the earth, so we're gonna slow you down, you know?
Yeah.
And but we were actually doing, you guys were doing really well. Like whenever I was in Albuquerque having a gig, my gig was always early because I'm solo. And then I would always try to see where you guys were playing, and I'd go cruise over to the launch pad, or I'd cruise over to like Tractor Brewery, or you know, what's that other one we used to play off of 2nd Street in Albuquerque?
Oh, Low Spirits and Marble and
yeah. Oh man, we were playing all over the place, man.
yeah.
It's like we were doing so good, and really just kind of like we were just beginning to find like our voices and honing in on our sound, and then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's life. You know, it's like we got thrown this, and it's like okay.
That's right. You're right.
When this mother opens up again, it's on. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's on, yeah. But
Well,
you know, that's a cool thing. You know, it's like I feel like kind of like you were saying, there's like this brotherhood of support where we inspire each other, you know, or motivate each other. You know, it's like if I see you're doing something, like I'm rooting for you, and I'm at your gig, and I'm there supporting, and it makes me want to do better. You know.
yeah.
So it's kind of like be around the people that you want to be like.
And be around the people who are not hating on you.
Yeah.
You know, you're being polite about it, but you know, I feel like when you're in New Mexico, because we're like a smaller state, as far as like population and like bigger cities, I feel like whenever people in our local communities all over the state have a little bit of success, we tend to get a lot of more haters, or at least you experience it a lot more because we live in a smaller place where, you know, you pretty much know everybody on your Facebook and on your Instagram, your social media, you know, the people that follow you. And then I feel like whenever you get a little bit of success here in New Mexico, if you're a person of color, whether that's, Native, Hispanic, or Black, there's some haters, and I've just come to that point now. I'm like, bring them on. The more haters I have, the better, seriously, because it means people are paying attention.
There's no such thing as bad news, right?
Right.
Or a bad story.
Nah,
Yeah. Well, we're resilient, That's just what we do. We can get through anything. We're gonna get through this pandemic, and we're gonna talk about it, and there's gonna be songs about it, and
there's gonna be a lot of songs.
Then there'll be greatness again.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But before we go any further, why don't you bless us with another one?
All right, let me do it before my mom calls again for the third time. And Mom, I told my mom to go to Instagram. My mom only has like Facebook, barely. Yeah. Mom, go to Instagram, open an Instagram account.
Well, we'll get this up on YouTube, and she can watch it there in a couple weeks.
I'll do a good old one, like from my last. I'll do Espanola Girl.
Yes.
Speaking of those Espa girls, if there's any Espanola girls watching or anywhere around there, north or south of Espanola, like San Juan Pueblo, Velarde, there's another one.
My wife is Powake and Santa Clara, and Espanola is right in the middle, so I kind of have an Espanola girl.
You do. You kind of do. You kind of do. But you got a good one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do some Espa girl. This I got to put the capo on it. And feel free to jam along, Jer, if you want to, but I just can't hear you if you're doing it. That's the only thing.
No, I'm going to turn my mic down because if I play, there's a delay in it, and it'll just fuck you up. So
we'll sound like Soundgarden.
Yeah. So I'm going to play in the background, but my volume's going to be down.
All right, we'll do some Espa Girl. How's it sound? Okay. North New Mexico. People always judge her for being a single mother for tattoos and clothes. But all I saw was a long black hair and her eyes burned like fire. And I could feel the pain 100 miles away, and it felt like cold barbed wire. Hey, I'm headed north on a southbound track. Fire makes that desert rain. I'm headed north on the southbound train. Dirty fire makes that desert rain. Let's make it rain. I'm gonna do the short version. And every time I'm heading north up on the train, I wonder where in the world is my sweet brown angel with the devil blue eyes, that Espanol girl. And every time I'm heading north up on the train, I wonder where in the world is the sweet brown angel with the devil blue eyes, that Espanol girl. Hey, I'm rocking now. Hitting up on the southbound train. It's his fire that makes that desert rain. Hitting up
Oh, I
I'm gonna
gotta
like
say
fall
that's
out.
my
I'm gonna
favorite
fall out
song,
of the
man.
screen, like just trying to be dramatic, just make it like a show.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Thanks, man.
I kind of lost track of everybody doing emojis and stuff, but I was having a great time. That's my wife's favorite song too.
Well, I remember when you met your lady, man, and you were a different man before you met your wife. You got yourself a good one there, buddy.